I like it here.
Hopefully you do. How was your last vacation?
My last vacation was incredible, Jesse. And mind you, like I have traveled a little bit. And for me to feel like that about Granada, like it's for me, it's one of those places. And mind you, it was a sailing trip, so we were never off. Like we stayed one night in Granada. Besides that, we were literally island hopping.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jesse, and welcome to the Jess Takes a Village podcast, where we focus on regular people who have used their education, whether it be formal, vocational, or even life experiences, to propel their lives in a positive direction. Ladies and gentlemen, look who we finally got off the boat after sailing the Caribbean for about, what, 6 months? 7 months?
7 days.
That was the longest 7 days of my life. But as you know, this meeting was a birthday text that led to a come on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Celeni to the platform. 7 days
7 days
on a boat
sailing.
with great people.
Yes.
What's that do for your mental?
I think that just you, I like to travel.
Yeah.
So just by me thinking that I'm going to be somewhere new, somewhere
Mm-hmm.
different, and mind you spending 7 days with 10 other individuals living, cooking, partying, waking up and doing yoga, snorkeling. It's a little team.
That
It's like a
cohesiveness is nice. Yes,
community.
it is.
It's a
Because you're
community.
really, and I would say as opposed to being in a B&B or in a very nice hotel, right? You know the amenities and the perks of that, but actually waking up on the water, like that fresh air, that ocean breeze, it must be so relaxing.
It is incredible. Nothing exists outside of that.
Absolutely. It's
It
like
is,
it's like a little bubble,
it's
for lack of better
amazing.
terms.
It's
So
incredible.
these 7 days of you just relaxing and being amongst a different community of people. You know, this podcast is centered around being amongst good people, showing the different levels of support that got you to where you are currently in life. So, for the viewers, what exactly do you do for a living?
Do a few
I
things.
feel like there's a list. Well, the ones that you actually want to share, what do you do?
So I'm an artist. I'm a painter. That's my passion. That's what drives me. That's
Mm-hmm.
what fulfills me. I became licensed in real estate about 4 years ago. So I've been doing that, but I didn't take it up full time until about a year or so ago.
Okay.
I recently became a mold assessor,
Wow.
like a certified mold assessor. I have to apply for my license, but yes,
Wow. How? Continue.
I do that. You're gonna ask how did I get into that?
Absolutely.
My partner has a mold remediation company.
Okay.
They don't have no mold assessors there. So typically, when we go away and there's a flood here,
Mm,
there's anything of that nature,
absolutely.
they're always on the phone. It's like you're working, but
Oh,
you're
you're
not
not, yeah, you're
really
like on
there.
call. Yeah,
So same thing. Mold assessor, you go, you take samples for
yeah.
whatever mold or moisture there is there, and then you send it to a lab.
Like, like you can't find that one Indeed. Like, I don't even say how do you, but it's like mold assessor. Like,
Yeah,
you see, like usually with something like that, I would assume that it's affiliated with like the Department of Health,
it
right?
is in a
Oh,
way.
in a way, it's like you go to a restaurant, you check behind, you check the corners of the walls, and you're like, what the hell is that up there? But that's wow. You know,
Yeah.
every time on a podcast, it's my fault too, because I make like a general assumption that somebody's gonna have a job that I already have some type of prior knowledge about, maybe like a little inclining, but it's like you're a mold assessor. You're a mold assessing real estate mural painter agent, you
Yes.
know? So you actually juggling about three things right now. It kind of says something about your work ethic as a person. Where and maybe when in life did you start to develop this work ethic of like, I always have to stay busy?
I'm an artist first.
Yeah,
Artists just want to create. Artists, it's very difficult for artists to have systems in place,
absolutely.
right? You just want to paint, you want to create. I have painted for 16 hours straight. It's like once you're in that zone, nothing else exists. So my struggle at the moment is
Yeah,
balancing all those things with different systems. Real estate, you need a system. You working all the time, but you need systems in place, right? Birthdays, showings, buyers, sellers, investors. You have all these different outlets, right? Like today, I'm here.
absolutely.
I have a real estate meeting after this. So it's like systems help. Now that I've been painting murals, it has gotten to the point where if I'm spending 5 days painting, it's very difficult to manage real estate calls or appointments or make arrangements, or you're my buyer, you have a question. Like, how quickly do I detach mentally from painting to go tend to this huge thing, right?
I mean, wow, because as I'm hearing that, I think like the key word is like flexibility,
Yes.
right? Because obviously detaching yourself is very hard because you seem to be the person of once you're dedicated to something. I mean, 16 hours straight is a shift in a hospital, you know,
Yeah.
if that with overtime. Don't let the nurses come for me. But it's like, okay, you detach yourself, but you need a certain level of flexibility because it's like time is like your greatest weapon, right? As of right now, what you have in that slot, whether it be an hour, 30 minutes, the week, the month, or half the year, those are the things that really, take precedence over your life. So
100%.
I'm Celeni's friend. I want to hang out on a Friday. What's the best way to set up that Friday appointment
Two
for
weeks
you?
in
For
advance.
2 weeks in advance. Now,
If so,
right, if so, because I actually want to tell the viewers one of the things that people don't really prepare you for in life is as you get older and as you're chasing a passion, time really matters. A lot of people just don't have the luxury of saying, well, all right, let's go spawn with spontaneity, right? You kind of have to plan these things in advance because you're busy.
I also think that
Yeah,
it means a lot to who you want to spend time with when you're busy.
absolutely.
Like if I'm
Absolutely.
gonna go meet with a friend and it's gonna
Yeah,
be the same thing, the
yeah,
same scenario conversation. It's not gonna feed me.
yeah.
There's no conversation afloat. I will skip.
It's I
I
listen,
will
I get
skip.
it.
It's funny. I tell my friends, I am there for your wins and there if you're broken.
Hmm.
Simple. If you want to celebrate something, you graduated, you got a new
Yeah,
job, call me. Yes, I will make time.
I'm there.
If you need me, call me. Whatever time it is, I will make time. For bullshit and fuckery, don't call me. Call your other
Yeah.
friends. I'm not a high maintenance friend. I'm a low low maintenance friend. And mind you, I come from a very supportive small group of people. Like I have had these people in my life for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And it's like if something huge is happening,
Boom.
call me. I'm there. Like
That's like a little village, which we'll get to later, which is amazing.
100%.
So Seleni's 15 years old. What's her like career? What's her like her career goals? Like what does she want to be?
Paint.
Paint. So this is like from childhood up till now.
Paint.
Where does that influence come from? Because I had a painter on the show episodes before, and she said her mom obviously introduced it to her, but like her grandmother was more so the one who like no, her aunt was the one that kept it like alive in her. Who introduced you to the art world?
Crazy. I have never touched paint until eighth grade on an art project at John Dodd Middle School in Freeport. Never. Once
Shout out
I
Freeport.
got,
Yeah.
once I sat and we created a mandala, like one
Wow.
of those
Yeah,
different
yeah.
shapes. It was amazing, Jesse. Like it was the most amazing thing I ever did.
And just like that.
Went through high school, got voted most artistic, partnered with somebody else. It was two of us. Went to college. I wanted to be an artist.
And where'd you study at school?
Nassau Community College.
Wow.
I was there, hated it. It was art history. It was ceramics. All these extra classes and all this. I'm like, I want to paint. Everyone says that artists do not make money, that we are starving artists.
I I have like my own little like reservations about that now, right?
Now that I make money while
Yeah.
making art is completely different. But
Yeah.
I wish I would have pursued that, like just art.
I mean, it's not to sound like, superficial, but you can still
100%.
pursue and still do it. There could be a
100%.
way to combine the real estate with the art, you do a showing, put the work up. What you think about this? I
100%.
mean, listen, anything is possible, but I also like One of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on a platform is, I teach. And I always tell the children in my class, you know, a lot of Mr. Jesse's friends who are girls are very, very smart. So the girls in my class would be like, well, how smart? Are they smarter than the boys? I'm like, way smarter than the boys. I'm like, you got to understand
We
something.
are smarter than the
Way
boys.
smarter. I said, but you know what it is? I said, you guys go through so much. But if you stick the course, you'll be successful. And I tell them I have so many friends who are girls that are extremely successful. And I feel like you are another person who's just like an example. Like, kept your head down, you stuck to it. I'm pretty sure there were high, mediums, and lows, but you kept yourself busy. So the NCC is not working. You don't like the classes, you don't like the extra stuff. Do you stay and finish, or do you just opt to just get up out of
I
there?
changed majors, interior
Mm.
design.
Ah.
I got to
Yeah,
paint.
true, 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 true.
I got to paint. I got to
Yeah.
take drawing classes. It was
It
amazing.
was fulfilling?
I never did anything with it. I don't get me wrong, it does implement my real estate now.
Yes.
And when I walk into a home, I can guide
Yeah.
a client differently. I can speak about a
Mm-hmm.
home differently. So that definitely helped. But did I need it? No. No. I am a self taught artist. I paint on my own, and everything I know I have learned from my own research and trial and error.
I'm not gonna lie, just for transparency here. When I heard you were painting, thought to myself, I'm like, okay, she paints. Like, it's everybody paints now. Everybody
Yeah.
podcasts now too. Everybody teaches. It's one thing to hear these things, then it's another thing to see it.
Right.
So I got taken to one of the places, I won't divulge it, where you painted such a beautiful mural on the wall.
Thank you.
And I'm sitting there by the bar, music is going, 3 drinks in, and I got tapped, and I'm like, that's it right there. And I'm like, that's what? I'm like, Celeni painted that. And I literally turned around and I was just like mind blown.
You were
I'm
wild.
like, the whole wall? It's like, yeah, the whole wall. I'm like, but like, who helped her? It's like, nah, like she did the wall like by herself. And I'm sitting there
Yeah.
like, what in the world? And I'm just like, it's not just that wall, it's a lot of other places on other walls. And I'm like,
Hmm.
you got it. I'm like, you got it. You got it. Like,
Thank
you
you for
really,
the approval.
like, no, I mean, you don't need my approval. Who am I? But I was like, wow, like this is actually real for you. Because listen, people paint and art is subjective,
Hmm.
but there's a difference between in our world painting for social media likes and really painting because you're skilled. And I honestly feel like you're painting because you're skilled. Like this, it looks passionate. It looks
Thank you.
passionate. And even though I was like 3 drinks in, but I'm just like, wow, like I applaud people like that. People who go out there, don't make excuses. I need that wall. Or maybe I need two
You know what's
walls.
so crazy? That
Mm,
I love being able to paint murals as opposed to painting on a canvas in
mm,
my studio by myself. Just because it gives people that feeling
yeah,
of wow, someone made this with
yeah,
their hands, like their
yeah.
everything of them is poured into this wall. I think that it exposes, right? It makes the artist in general be more appreciated and
Absolutely.
more known and more aware. Like I feel like art is one of those things where art, it's painting, it's whatever, it's baby Jesus, is you know what I'm saying?
Always.
Like it's something that you see everywhere, Jesse. Either you like it or not, you see it. But seeing applied arts is different. You're wowed by it. It's not like you see a picture or you see a video, you'll be like, oh, that's cool. Once you're standing in a piece of artwork like in front, is wow.
I know being in the classroom now, a lot of kids, they still get the gym, they get the music, they get the art class, but to me, it's not what it was when I was going to elementary school. Because I remember, the all pastels. I remember the encouraged creativity. I remember if you really, really painted good, the art teacher will take you outside, you go paint the walls,
Mm.
maybe you paint something on the floor. And there was such an emphasis on arts education, on, excuse me, on arts education. But over time with funding, a lot of kids can't do it in school. So now they have to seek outside
Mhm.
programs. So I'm wondering, how'd you maintain this love from 8th grade all the way up till college when, that's around the time when like the art class wasn't the same?
I think that the best way I can describe the feeling of being creative,
Hmm.
making art, is that you feel like you're everything and nothing at the same time. It's a different
Does
space.
that keep you humble?
I wouldn't say humble. I am humble by life,
No, no, I'm
but
just saying in general, in terms of not being too over the top and not really being too laid back. Is that middle ground considered humility?
look, I feel like if I go back and I look at a painting that I did 6 months ago, I'd be like, oh, I can change that. I can do that differently. I can
That's
spend
that's the artist fulfillment. Like you guys are never really,
it's if you're looking at it,
yeah.
because I feel like so much of you goes into your art as a person
It's a piece of you.
and you're changing constantly. So you see things differently,
And
perspective,
it's a
colors,
spirituality behind the
everything.
artwork
Yeah.
too. So your upbringing, where's your family from?
Dominican Republic.
And were you born there? You born
I
here?
was born there. I came here when I was 12.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So this is as soon as you got to America, you kind of fell in love with the art.
Yes.
What would you say is artistic about your country that really like draws you in? What would you say?
I think that when you say I'm Dominican, it's art itself.
Okay,
We are who we are. We're happy people. We are island people.
absolutely.
Music, art, carnivals, food, TV, which is kind of huge in DR. Like all those little things, I feel like give you a sense of that
Absolutely.
artsiness of that island.
So I'm wondering now, in DR, with you mentioning all of these elements that make it artistic, did you notice that when you were younger?
No.
So it's one of those things where as you got older, you look back and you were just like, wow. Because the whole umbrella of culture in itself is art. And I
Right.
love that you mentioned music. I love that you mentioned the people, the gatherings. But one thing I feel like that should be mentioned is always the landscape or the nature of
A
where you're
hundred
from.
percent.
Because it's like, would it be in Dominican Republic or be in Trinidad? It's so vibrant. Like you feel like you can
Yeah.
breathe there. People are so social. People talk. You could appreciate the mango tree in your backyard.
A
You
hundred
could
percent.
appreciate the coconut. You could appreciate what my godmother used to make the beefsteak and cebollado.
Of course.
And it was just you just appreciate the smells and everything that comes with the culture in itself. Um, have you ever thought about going back and painting over there?
Look, when it comes to the lifestyle in DR,
Mm-hmm.
I have a love and hate relationship with it
Okay, that's
because I
fair.
am Dominican,
Right.
right? So when I think of DR, you think about this beautiful place, rich tourism. Yeah, but what about my Dominican people? Like, how are we living? How are we
Yeah.
making money? So if I had the means to go get a house by the beach and paint my life away, sure, sure, why not? But again, I don't come from that. I come from the countryside. I come from
The
horses
campo.
and
Yeah.
donkeys and
Mm.
cooking outside and that type of thing, rivers and that. You know what I mean? Like when I think of going back, if I were to go back, I will go to the countryside.
Right.
But also, I like traveling and seeing people,
Absolutely.
and I'm a little
Absolutely.
weird. And how
Yeah,
much
no,
of
but
that
yeah.
can I get
I
there?
remember I remember so me and my boys, yeah, went to DR and we went in the ATVs. I
Hmm.
remember we went in the ATVs, we were zipping through the streets, we were zipping through the campo, and I remember we all had got like dirty. So on the way back, it's like eight of us, eight of the homies. And one of the guys, he was rapping Meek Mill with us. Like he was like chilling with us. He goes, "What you guys gonna do with like those sneakers?" He goes, "You guys like gonna throw them away?" So us, we think about it in America. We run through pairs of sneakers, right? And we're in a
Hmm.
place where maybe not everybody has access to those. He was like, "Yo, you want them?" He like, "Yeah." And we
Yeah.
all of us went back in shorts and
You
socks, and it
made
was
his
just
day.
like made the day. So we go now, we get to the beach, we're leaving the beach. Kid comes up to me, he's like, "Poppy, I like your shirt." I'm like, "You like the shirt?"
Yep.
Yeah, yo, I like that shirt. I'm like, "Yo, you want it?" He like, "Yeah, just give me the shirt." He's like, "What about the shorts?" I'm like, "What am I gonna walk home with?"
Man.
But it was that kind of vibe
Yeah.
and that level of appreciation. And it kind of centers back to art because what is art based off appreciation? You
A hundred
appreciate your
percent.
thoughts, you appreciate what you see, you're appreciating your interactions. So art aside, molder assessor aside, you enter into the field of
Real
real estate.
estate.
What's real estate mean to you in
I
3 words?
fucking love real
Oh, I don't
estate.
really know real
I
estate in
fucking
four
love
words.
real
Okay.
estate. Let me explain. I feel like real estate is such a big world, right? I'm not just talking about rentals and commercial and residential, investor, buyer, seller, mortgage, inspector. There is so
So much to do. It's a
much.
big field. It's a big field.
It's so much. And I love that it's its own little world, it's its own little mechanism. You got to know somebody that knows somebody. The more time you spend doing real estate, I think the better you get at it, the more you know it's a
It's a
field where you
skill.
don't ever stop learning, ever. When I mean that, you hear something new every day.
There's always something going on, you know. My mom actually has her license, and she always told me, you know, get your license, get your license, get your license. And she goes, you know, one part of the game that nobody can teach you is the comfort level of being social,
Hmm.
right? She goes, no one can teach you that feeling of being let down, or it's still that feeling of that high when you finally sell something, you know, because it's like it's something you've been waiting for. And I would never forget one of my first introductions to real estate. My mom had the little business cards. She was working for a company called ERA Top Realty. And I'm like, yo, this is really my mom on a card. And I'm like, you sell houses and apartments? But she goes, yeah, but it's also a lot of saving. It's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of commitment. That phone, people, you know, it never ends. But it's that level of diligence, always having a smile on your face, allowing people to see, like, hey, I'm here to work and I'm a
Hmm.
professional. So have you been with one company this whole time? Are you in the private sector? Are you in the
No.
commercial sector?
And so I started at a mom and shop.
Okay.
It was just the broker, myself, and our hard money lender. That's it. I was doing property management.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot of that. We had 27 doors, tenants all the time. Yes. I hated it.
Property managers don't play though.
I hated
Yeah.
it. Jesse, when I'm telling you that you have tenants calling you at 4 a.m., call the cops. I can come see you. You know what I mean? Like all
Yeah.
those little things. So I was like, no, I am done. I moved to EXP. We were with EXP for about a year,
Okay.
and I came with a team. I love my team, Bliss Team Realtors.
That's it. The
We
unit.
are awesome. And we decided to make a change. We went to Real Broker, and that's where we're currently at now. It's fairly new, about 6 months,
Okay.
I feel like. So, but it's the transition has been good. I
That's
like it.
good.
Yeah,
That
everybody's
that's such a reward. I mean, listen,
happier.
that's a whole different game.
Yes, it is.
You know, there are people who play the game on level one, and the real estate people play the game on
Yeah.
level seven. Like it's no joke. Like you really have to be on point. And I always like to use this story. About a year and a half ago, my boy, I had a close friend who ended up buying a house in Connecticut, right? Multifamily. He's starting off his real estate journey. I'm like, shit, I could do the same thing too. I went, looked for somebody. I seen a commercial about Rocket Mortgage. I called them up. It was like, hey, you want to speak to us for a consultation, whatever. So I gave them my numbers, and they're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, I'm a teacher. I'm like, oh, we love teachers, you know. I'm like, okay. So they was like, they gave me a
Pre-approval.
pre-approval form. So mind you, I'm learning as I go. So and please correct me where I've made stupid mistakes. So I get
It's
the
okay.
pre-approval form. They give me 200,000. So I'm sitting there like, oh, this is barely for nothing. I'm like, so I just gotta find something now. So I'm on Zillow. I call my Dominican aunt who's into that real estate stuff too. She's like, shout out Auntie Ingrid. She's like, oh yeah, Jesse, look up here, look up here, look up here. So I'm like, oh, perfect. I see a house upstate, and I seen the house was like $500,000. I'm like, perfect. I got two. I put the two down, whatever's the difference, and I cover it. Get in contact with the agent. She goes, how much was on your pre-approval letter? I'm like, 200,000. It's easy to just put. She's like, no, 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 sir, no. Your limit
Mm.
is 200,000. You cannot cap that. And I'm just go over the cap, and I'm just like, yeah. She goes, yeah. So she goes, have you looked into like condos? I'm like, okay, fine.
That's where
Well, I'm like, okay.
you.
So I'm looking at the condos, and one condo was 120,000. I'm like, I got 200. It was like, she goes, yeah, and you can use the rest for construction.
What about that board?
So wait, don't ruin it for me just yet. So I look at the condo, whatever, and let's just say the monthly expenses, not the expenses, but the mortgage. It was 1,600. I'm like, is this God like talking to me? I'm like, I'll go get this condo right now. So I'm scrolling down and I see, and excuse the ignorance, I see HOA. I'm like,
HOA,
HOA. I'm like, oh,
baby.
HOA. So
HOA.
I'm like, who is this? So I'm thinking it's like some other group of people. I'm like, who are these people? It's 1,600. These dudes want 1,200. I'm like, who the hell are these people? And then that's when I started realizing that depending where you live, it's the homeowners association.
Yep.
And they're like the Illuminati
Listen,
of the real
they
estate
are.
world.
Everybody hates them. I did not say that.
Yeah, everybody does. But yeah, I was like, why do y'all charge just as much as the rent? Like, how does that make sense? And I was just like, what's the purpose? Explain to the viewers. What do they do that warrants them to?
So funny. I don't do condos and co-ops for the specific reasons.
Yeah.
It's a lot more complex.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you think of residential, you're just getting a family.
Yeah.
Right? It's an individual. It's not rentals. It's not number. All it has to make sense is that pre-approval mortgage payments, right? Then when you get into commercials, it's like numbers.
Yeah.
It's numbers talk, right? Cap rates, that sort of type of thing. When you talk about condos, it's like the military and everybody else. I don't do condos. I don't know how to. It's not.
I was like, why are you guys charging this?
It's not mine.
But it's not. So obviously, as I keep on reading, they're just not with condos too. They're with residential neighborhoods. I've seen some neighborhoods in Staten Island. The guy was like, HOA doesn't let me decorate the front of my house.
So
like,
they have a saying pretty much on everything. They have a saying on architecture. They have a saying on who lives there. They have a saying in how long you have to live there. They have a saying on the garbage, how you take out the garbage.
Yeah.
They have a saying. It is. Condos and co-ops are a little different.
Stay away from the condos and co-ops. Nah, do what you want. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not soliciting any advice. But
Look,
do what you want.
It's not for everybody, but you also have people that's more affordable, and people like that structure.
That is
real estate. Everybody's in real estate.
Right.
Everybody needs a place to live. Right. Everybody needs, you know what I mean? So it's like, do your research. That's my best advice. Speak to somebody that specializes in that.
Stay away from HOA.
And that's what I'm telling you. Like, real estate is such a broad thing, right?
Absolutely, one big umbrella.
I love commercial. I don't like condos and co-ops. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something I want to touch. It's not where I want to live. And
I was just like, man, oh man. It obviously the journey didn't work out, but obviously I know better now, so now I can go back again. But it's like, I wouldn't lie, like I'm a little traumatized. Like even when I scroll on Zillow, once I see it, I'm sorry. I don't want nothing to do with you.
Look, so things right now are a little different because of the interest rates are so high. But speak to somebody in the mortgage world, right? And speak to a loan officer and speak to a realtor that specializes in that. Maybe right now it's not the time, but you can prepare yourself to have something in the future. And someone guiding you, telling you the steps. What steps do you need to make? If you really want to purchase, you can purchase. Everybody can purchase.
Now, if I could ask you your personal opinion, why, and obviously this may sound like a silly question, but you being in this field, you see what rent has turned into. You see what mortgage has turned into. What would you recommend is like a feasible option for people in order to like survive like the housing market in New York City? Like what do you think people should do?
Get informed. Get informed. In the real estate world, people are dying to get free information because everybody wants your business. Right? Maybe you cannot buy a home now, but there's a program that you can apply for. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your goals? What's the interest rate right now? What are different types of mortgages? What is the difference between an FHA, a conventional? Like, where are you at in life? And then you can sort of venture out. You know what I mean?
I think I can't answer that first one. So from what I've seen, FHA is 3.5% and conventional is 20.
Right now it's 5.
It's 5?
Yeah.
And what's commercial?
So commercial is a different type of
Oh,
animal. So
okay.
commercial, it's like when you think about retail stores,
Okay.
malls,
Yeah.
storefronts, that type of thing,
Okay.
buildings,
So 2 out
anything.
of 3. That's not bad. 3.5 and 5. Okay.
You have a lot of different programs, so that's the thing. So just get informed.
What's your level of patience like?
Ah, so look, I think that in real estate,
Yeah.
when you are starting, you want everybody to be your client. After a while that you've been in the industry, you're sort of choosing who you want as a client.
Exactly.
And I don't discourage anybody. If I have information, I will give it to you. If you want information about condos, please go to my next better, right? Because that's not my expertise. But it's like certain people, you know when they're bullshitting you. You know when they're fucking around. You know when they're not serious. You know when they're wasting your time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Do you still pick up the phone call?
100%.
Damn.
100%.
That must be like a tough pill to swallow because, like, then it's like,
Look, people come to me all the time. Oh, I want to buy a house. What do I need to do a house? You need to speak to a mortgage officer, like to a loan officer. You need to. I don't know your finances. That's not my expertise. I cannot give you a, a bank letter saying
here you
you
go, buddy.
qualify for this much. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like, and people, they don't want to. They take a long time to send in documents, that sort of type of thing. It you see it just like you can detect bullshit in real life.
Yeah. And at work, but
100%.
do you feel satisfied about how far you've come in life so far?
I think there's always room for improvement. I feel
Most
like,
successful people say that. I like that.
but it's the reality of it. You know what I mean? I think that when you have different outlets that you have to power and unplug and you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you still have to manage all of that. And I mean, as an individual, like for me, and I was talking about this recently because I had an art show in the city, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I do want to monetize art because that's my whole conflict.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 16 hours because I have to. I want to do 16 hours because I want to.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I want to like pursue this as a business as opposed to just doing it on the side or doing whatever it is that I want? I'm like, do I want to spend 20 years doing real estate? Like you sit and you think about that. So it's
I mean, those don't sound like bad options, though, by the
I
way. They don't.
know, but it's like you always somewhat, what do you want? What journey do you want to pursue? You know what I mean? So satisfied, I'm grateful. I am very grateful. And I am grateful that I have all these little
Man,
outlets and access to people. That's another thing because you have access to a lot of
the
different
network.
people. So it's like you can juggle it, right? Like you can
Absolutely.
do your little. So it's about the things that you want, I guess.
So, with this being the Just Takes a Village podcast, we tend to center around the members of your village that help you get to where you are currently in life. It could be one person, two people, three people. Who's like the main core
You know,
that's just like, you know what? When Celeni's having a bad day, we have her back. Like we want her to keep going. Who's like rooting for you from up close and far away?
you know something. I love my people, and by my people, I mean my friends that I consider
Okay.
family, my partner. It's like my mentor. So it depends where, right? Like in my family aspect, my mom, the woman she deserves a medal. She's everything. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, single mom,
Yeah.
3 kids, migrated to here, brought us here. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, doing a lot. And our relationship only gets better and better over time.
God.
I think, like, the more I appreciate the sacrifices, the less I focus on the things that went there.
That self-reflection is very important.
If
So
that
we
makes
got
sense.
mommy. Who else we have?
My group of friends, I have a core five, and
That's it.
those are.
So
if
we got the mommy, the core five. We'll count those as number two because they're all in the group. And three.
definitely my partner. I think that he is different. He sees the world a little different than I do.
Okay.
And that's
Good.
something that I
Perspective.
never think
Right.
about. So it's like, oh, I just want to paint. Be like, no, go make money on that painting. Go do this. Go do that. You know what I mean? Like he's a lot more
That you guys are partnered with different
bigger.
perspectives. Yeah.
Bigger. I just think somebody that wants to see you be successful in whatever it is that you want. Like it doesn't matter what it is. You want to plant trees, be successful at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do it well. Try to implement whatever it is that you're doing. Like to your
Yeah, that partner strength is something very, very important. I had a coworker who came on the platform. He teaches with me, but he also he's a writer and he put out his first novel. It's like a
that's
sci-fi novel.
amazing.
He's gonna make it like out of a 1 to 7 series, and he actually wants it to be like a live action series. And I asked him, I goes, who are the members? And he goes, honestly, my wife. My wife has like supported me through and through. She goes, you know what? If you want to write that second book, go work on it. Go sit there.
Yeah.
I'll sit with the kids, go handle it. I'm just like, those are the levels that people need to be at, where you have somebody who's just giving you that push.
I think it when in the sense of a partner, I think if you have somebody that likes you for who you are, I think that
Or
plays
loves. Yeah.
like I it's different. I think that I can like my partner for who he is, right? That's different than me liking him for who he likes being. You know what I mean? Like
The act versus the person.
100%.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like it's important for whoever you choose to let you be you.
Absolutely.
I never wanted to be in a relationship where I'm being cookie cuttered into like you have to meet these things and be this.
Molded.
I
No
am
pun
Celeni.
intended. Yeah. But
Like I'm just Celeni. And Celeni comes, the more I can be Celeni on my natural essence, right? The better
natural.
it
I
is for
feel it, yeah.
everybody.
That's it.
The better it is. I feel like over time those things can build up in a very nasty way and then affect everything around you, your partner, your five, your mom. You know what I mean? It's like it's important to have somebody that supports you.
Weird scenario.
Yes.
Ending of the world. You got two doors.
Okay.
You got art with exponential fun. Wait. You got art with exponential fun and just being able to paint the rest of your life, no stress. Or you have real estate, a wide clientele base, and a chance to retire very, very fast. Which door are you going through?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Can I just retire on the art side?
You can, but I know your heart is heavy in both. I know from speaking to you, I know art is the passion. I know art is the heartbeat. But it seems like real estate is the blood moving through the body. So, which door?
Let's see if I can trick this, twist and turn this to my advantage. In a sense, I already do those things.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, ideally, I think that in real estate, if you don't want to work, you have to have a team. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
You have to have
Right.
people
In place.
100%.
Right.
So that takes a lot of work, a lot of commitment, a lot of time, right? In art, if I want to just go leisure and paint and do whatever I want, I still need a team because you have to talk to people. You have to be able to make a profit. You have
Right.
to sell art shows, appearances. Who am I? You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So I feel like both of those things, I do them because it gives me flexibility to bounce from one to the other
So
one.
what you're really saying is you're gonna use your interior design skills and just break in between both doors and make it one big room.
Yes. Exactly.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
Why?
Growth.
But what else? Because growth, I'm not downplaying it, but everyone says growth. But where'd you come from to the point where now you can look back and say growth?
I got you. So
If you understand like where I'm coming from, yeah.
So when I first started painting, I was very into painting women, nudes. Like that's what I knew. That's what made me happy. I could do it.
God bless those kinds of artists. God bless them, but yeah.
But now that I feel like I have grown as an artist,
Yeah.
for me, I want to paint about my childhood. I actually started a series for my inner child, right? Like that little girl that I envisioned when I was 5, when I was 8, when I was 10. Like, what did that little person need in order to make me be better in today's world? You know what I'm saying? So it's like those paintings have a lot of like nature, a lot of like the dilemmas of being 6 and cooking on a stool. You know what I mean? Like all those little things that I feel like I was not given or experienced as a child. It's like I'm giving that to my inner child, if that makes any
It's like you're
sense.
taking care of your older self, your younger self.
Yes.
You taking, but you see, when you explain things just like the way you did, the only feasible answer is growth. You see, a lot of the times people go, I worked here, now I work here, growth. I
Yeah.
did this, now I did this, growth. But you came out of your shell. You came out of your being of who you were as a person. And as you got to where you were, you remembered where you came from. You remember the little
Yeah.
girl in the kitchen. You remember the little girl who was on a plane coming to America. You remember the little girl with her 2 siblings and
Yeah.
mommy in the house. You remember those things. Because you remember those things, they all play little key factors into your
100%.
growth. So now when you sit there and you're humble and you're dedicated and you're hardworking and you say, wow, I'm doing all of these things, the only answer is growth. And I sit there and I put people in this chair to champion them because it's like, granted, people will clap for you. People will say, oh, you're doing great things. But if nobody told you it today, I want to tell you, I am very, very proud of you.
Thank
All of your growth,
you.
everything. Just it
Likewise.
takes a lot for people to speak their truth,
100%.
especially in this world where if you're a woman, I don't even need to say it. There are things that women do to get attention, right? That require no skill. Then you have the woman in the back, the wholesome woman, who have all the skill in the world and don't require any attention. And you kind of see how it plays into a part because you have a skill that doesn't involve you behaving like something that you're not supposed to behave like.
100%.
You have a skill where you're able to meet people. You have a skill in which you're able to speak. You have a skill in which you're able to express yourself. And these are the things that little girls need to see as they're watching this, like the kids in my class, you know? But they
100%.
need to see that, damn, like I could be like Celeni. And if the Celeni standard is here, even if they can't get there, they'll land in a pretty good place
Yeah.
because look how far you've come. And a lot of little girls have your story. So we just want to tell you from the bottom of our hearts at the Just Takes a Village platform and us being in the green room, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the platform.
Thank you for having
And
me.
it's just like that.